Hello, welcome to my YouTube. This is the second part of What If Ash and Serena Traveled Together. I hope you like this episode. Let's start. 3 years later, Lumizone City Sycamore's lab. A few years has passed since the meeting in Professor Oak's summer camp. In Lumizone City, located in the Kalos region, there was a white building in the heart of the city. That building was the Pokemon lab of Professor Augustine Sycamore. Professor Sycamore has spent years studying a special form of evolution called Mega Evolution. He also introduces new coming trainers to their starter Pokemon. The Pokemon include the green-brown chipmunk Chespin, the orange-red fox Fennekin, or the blue-white frog Froakie. While Professor Sycamore has been giving trainers their new Pokemon, there was just one problem: a certain Froakie and Fennekin didn't seem to want any of those kids to be their trainers. It have worried the professor as he loved those Pokemon, but they don't seem to want a trainer. Is something wrong, Augustine? A woman with long blue hair and glasses asked. Yes, Sophie, it's Froakie and Fennekin, Sycamore answered. Those two Pokemon each been through many trainers, and they don't want to be with them. Sophie was the wife of Professor Sycamore. She had long blue hair and wore glasses, and she wore a light blue blouse with a white lab coat, a black skirt, black pantyhose and black heels. Sophie has been a specialist in keeping Pokemon healthy and knowing how to heal them, even though she wasn't a nurse. I know, they even have a hard time with us and everyone here in the lab, Sophie said in disappointment, checking in on Froakie and Fennekin. Yeah, the two Pokemon get along with each other just fine. Especially Froakie, who seems to be liking Fennekin, Sycamore said, looking at the two Pokemon. But they can't seem to trust any humans they come nearby, and for the past few years we continue to struggle to get them to trust us, despite everything we do for them. It was true, Froakie and Fennekin have been scarred by the humans. While Froakie showed himself to have a little crush on Fennekin, they got along with the other Pokemon, but those two Pokemon didn't want any of them as their trainers. They couldn't trust a single human being, no matter how kind they were. In fact, the two barely ever smiled. As Sophie looked at the two Pokemon, she started to have tears come to her eyes. Why did that hunter have to go around killing their families? Sophie questioned, nearly beginning to cry. It's true, that no good hunter Siegfried did this to them, Sycamore said, showing anger. He had to go around killing Pokemon for fun, and he enjoyed it. That was the sad truth of Froakie and Fennekin. When they were still in their eggs, a Pokemon hunter by the name of Siegfried went around and killed their families like it was some game. Flashback 4 years ago. A pond in Kalos. It was almost 4 years ago, and there was a pond that was full of Froakies. There were also some creatures with dark blue heads, light blue stomachs, yellow eyes, and bubbly white scarves. Those Pokemon were called Frogadier. Then there were two dark blue ninjas like frogs with a pink tongue-like scarf around their necks called Greenangia. Those Pokemon were Greenangia. All those Pokemon were swimming peacefully in the pond, and the two Greenangias who were parents were standing around protecting a bunch of eggs. Those eggs were going to be their children to soon be born into the world. Then a large jeep comes in and pulls up in front of the pond. Stepping out of the jeep was a muscular man who was bald, wore sunglasses, and wore a camouflage jacket, green cargo jeans, and brown boots. He also held a machine gun. Hey there! Siegfried the name, get ready to die! The man yelled out as he began shooting. Siegfried unleashed a flurry of bullets out of his military assault weapon, killing the Froakies and Frogadiers, turning the lovely blue pond into a blood-infested pool. Then we went up, grabbing Froakies and breaking their necks. He then came across another Froakie and ripped out one of its eyes and threw it in his mouth. He chose that Froakie's own eye right in front of him and spit it out at its face. Then he pulled out a knife and beheaded the Froakie. Siegfried was ruthless as he was killing the Froakies and Frogadiers, and the worst part was he enjoyed it. This monster has no remorse. He then approached the two Greenangias. I killed your Arceus damn kids, and I would do it again, Siegfried smirked as he stabbed both Greenangias in the chest, Now watch this. Siegfried went to their eggs and started stepping on them. What was supposed to be newborn lives were now being taken by this murderer as the two injured Greninjas helplessly watched their eggs be smashed. Yeah baby, Pokemon egg stomping is good. Siegfried exclaimed, I enjoy watching your babies die in front of you. Die you pieces of shit. Then Siegfried kicked some of the eggs off, breaking them, and one went rolling away. After that, the two Greninjas got their heads blown off. Siegfried went into his jeep and drove off. The lone egg kept rolling down into a secluded spot where it just sat there. Then an officer who was searching for the Pokemon murderer found the lonely egg and brought it with him. The egg was in good condition, but this unborn Pokemon has already dealt with possible emotional damage. A forest in Kalos. Somewhere in the forest, there was a family of Fennekin along with a few taller orange and white foxes with black legs who happened to be Braxian. There were two parent Pokemon who were fox-like creatures with orange upper bodies and red lower bodies, and they held a stick with a fire on them. Those were Delphox, and they were watching over the family along with a couple of eggs which were going to contain baby Fennekins. Then suddenly, a jeep pulls up and coming out was a muscular man who was bald, wore sunglasses, and wore a camouflage jacket, green cargo jeans, and brown boots. It was Siegfried, the same unstable hunter who killed a family of Froakies. Guess what? I'm ending your fucking lives because I want to. Siegfried yelled out as he began to shoot the Pokemon. Fennekins and Braixen were all being shot to death while the two Delphox began to fight back. Siegfried then threw ninja stars at the two Pokemon, weakening them. After killing most of the Fennekin and Braixen, Siegfried picked up a live Fennekin and a chainsaw, bringing the fox Pokemon up close to the parents. Hey, want to see something that isn't shit? Siegfried said, smirking. Siegfried then activated his chainsaw and began to sever the Fennekin's head. How horrifying! Their baby, their child, had their head cut off right in front of them, and they couldn't defend their child. As they were in pain and unable to move, they knew that they failed as parents. Boy, killing your own kids in front of you makes me hungry, Siegfried said as he grabbed one of the Pokemon eggs. Siegfried took their egg in front of them, and in front of their own eyes, Siegfried chomped into the Pokemon egg and ate it. He then proceeded to finish the egg as his own personal meal. Delicious, Siegfried said darkly. Don't worry, you get to be with your sorry-ass excuse of your families again right now. The Pokemon killer grabbed Delphox's throat and slit it, and the other Delphox had her eyes slithered out, and stuck the knife into her brain. They fell onto their own eggs, smashing them to pieces. Who the hell was this monster? Did he escape from an insane asylum? Whatever this thing was, it has no room in existence. Now to kill more Pokemon. I love killing these bastards. Siegfried shouted as he drove off in his jeep. All there was now was dead Fennekin, dead Braixen, two dead Delphox, and a bunch of destroyed eggs. One egg though was left unscathed, and soon an officer recovered that egg. It had to be Siegfried, said the officer as he recovered the egg. Don't worry little fella, you'll live a great life. The egg was placed next to the lone blue egg that the officer recovered. The only place the officer knew where he could take the egg was Professor Sycamore. He was the best Pokemon expert and lover he could think of. Present day. Lumison City Sycamore's lab. Then that officer brought those eggs here, so we could take care of them, Sycamore said solemnly, and the worst part is that sad excuse of a human being is still out there slaughtering Pokemon for no reason. Sycamore couldn't help but feel for Froakie and Fennekin. Even though they were just eggs, the two Pokemon were emotionally scarred for life. They couldn't trust a single human being, not even the professor and his wife. Then Sophie noticed something. There was a photo that was taken from Professor Oak's summer camp of couple of years ago. Sophie picked up the picture and saw it was Ash holding that same Froakie, and Serena holding that same Fennekin. That picture showed one of the few times the two Pokemon smiled. You know something, Augustine, One of the few times those Pokemon seemed happy was when they were with those kids, Sophie said looking at the photo. Yeah, you're right, Sycamore said, I remember the names of those two kids holding those Pokemon. Ash Ketchum, the one holding Froakie, and Serena Gabina, the one holding Fennekin. Hey, wasn't Serena Gabina the name of that child the couple had from your friend? Sophie asked. Yeah, it was about a year before I met you, Sycamore answered, even though I have been a famous professor here in Kalos, I still wanted to try and make a difference in people's lives. So, how did you realize that Serena was your biological daughter? Sophie asked. Well, I ended up getting a call from a couple in Vanilli Town that they had a beautiful baby daughter. The doctor told them that it was my sperm that Grace Gabina got as she was the one carrying the baby. After Serena was born, the doctor gave them my number, and they called my lab to thank me for the donation, Sycamore explained. That was the only time they called though. Wow, had to be nice having a child of your own, Sophie said holding Sycamore's hand. It is, said Sycamore, sometimes I do wonder what it could be like if I could raise a child of my own. The topic of kids suddenly was brought up by the fact of seeing the picture of Ash and Serena when they trailed off the original topic of Froakie and Fennekin along with that monster hunter Siegfried. Froakie and Fennekin saw the pictures of them with Ash and Serena after they were hatched out of their eggs. That was the only time they saw them, but those were the only humans who have made them happy. Froakie was happy to see the picture because it had Ash in it, and Fennekin was happy to see the picture because it had Serena in it. Despite the friendship those two Pokemon had with each other, they sometimes wished they could see those kids again. Then Professor Sycamore saw the looks on Froakie's and Fennekin's faces. He remembered that it was those two kids who gave them that moment of happiness. Then, an idea struck into the professor's head. Hey Sophie, Sycamore said, I have an idea. What is it? Sophie asked. Sycamore picked up the phone to call someone he knew. That person he was calling was Professor Oak. 1 week later. Pallet Town, Ketchum household. It was nighttime in Pallet Town a few years later. The little boy Ash Ketchum was now a 10-year-old boy who was going to be beginning his Pokemon journey very soon. Ash was watching the latest Pokemon battle on TV as he was hoping one day to become the very best like no one ever was. Yes, tomorrow I start my Pokemon journey, Ash said to himself. Ash, get to bed right now, Delia exclaimed to her son. Ash fell to the ground onto his stuffed Snorlax when Delia came into the room to tell him to go to bed. It's 11 o'clock at night, and you need to get your sleep, Delia said to Ash. I'm sorry Mom, I'm just so excited for my Pokemon journey that I just can't sleep, Ash explained. Well, if you can't sleep, then at least get ready for tomorrow, said Delia as she changed the channel. Here, watch this. Delia changed the channel on Ash's TV, and it was Professor Oak talking about the starter Pokemon for trainers. There were 3 Pokemon shown in the image next to Professor Oak. One was a blue reptile-like creature with a green bulb on its back, that was Bulbasaur. One was a red lizard with a flame on its tail, that was Charmander, and one was a blue turtle with an orange shell, that was Squirtle. Tomorrow, a new generation of trainers will begin their Pokemon journey. They will be able to pick between these 3 Pokemon, Bulbasaur, Charmander, and Squirtle, Oak said on the TV pointing to the image of the 3 starter Pokemon. Go to bed when this is done, said Delia, and change into your pajamas. All right, Ash replied. As soon as his mom closed the door, Ash decided to look out the window. What he saw happened to be the Gabina household home to his good friend Serena. Ash has been fond of her since that day in summer camp. Ash was too afraid to say something, but he really liked her. Ash looked at the photo of their day at summer camp as they were holding Froakie and Fennekin in their arms. Pallet Town Gabina household. Elsewhere in another house, we see a girl with honey blonde hair who went by the name Serena Gabina. Serena has been a shy girl since moving to Pallet Town, but after she met Ash and watched Pokemon hatched out of their eggs, Serena felt a lot more comfortable and open. She even became great friends with Daisy and Leaf, and Gary was somewhat on and off at times. Serena was really starting to take an interest in Ash since that day in summer camp. She was looking out the window where the Ketchum household was across the street. Serena was looking at the photo of her and Ash from summer camp where they were holding Froakie and Fennekin after they hatched out of their eggs. The two were happy together, and so were the Pokémon. "I'm looking forward to tomorrow when I get my first Pokémon," Serena said to herself smiling. "I really want to go on this Pokémon journey with Ash." Serena wasn't just looking forward to going on a Pokémon journey, she was hoping that this would be the chance to bond with Ash. Serena secretly liked him, and the other girls knew it too, but Ash didn't know that she had a crush on him. In another room of the Gabina household, there were Serena's parents Grace and Jade. No one minded that fact that Serena had two moms, in fact everyone found that awesome. The only thing that was on Grace and Jade's mind was what would Serena be doing when she begins her Pokémon journey. "Okay Jade, Serena doesn't want to do Rhyhorn racing, but there's got to be something she wants to do," Grace said to her partner. "You know Serena is into fashion, so maybe she might find a career in Pokémon fashion I guess," Jade responded. "Or human fashion," Grace commented, "but there has to be something she could do. Honestly, she's mostly leaving the house just to be with Ash." "Yeah, our little girl is growing up," said Jade. The two moms knew Serena was going to be getting her first Pokémon tomorrow to begin her Pokémon journey. They were just worried what path she was going to take. The next morning. Pallet Town Professor Oak's lab. There was a man with light brown hair wearing a red shirt with a white lab coat along with some khaki pants and brown shoes. That man was Professor Samuel Oak, who was getting ready to give the new trainers their first Pokémon. He had a Bulbasaur, a Charmander, and a Squirtle all ready to give out to new trainers. "Okay you guys, you're going to meet your new trainers very soon," Oak said looking at the Pokémon. Professor Oak was aware that there were going to be 5 new Pokémon trainers. Along with his grandson Gary Oak and granddaughter Daisy Oak, there was Ash Ketchum, Serena Gabina, and Leaf Green. Then he could notice 5 people out the window. "Holy crap, they're coming," Oak said as he called back all the Pokémon in the Pokeballs. Professor Oak got the Pokeballs set on the table for the new trainers. Then the 5 kids all walked into the lab. 2 of them were Ash Ketchum and Serena Gabina. Ash was wearing a black t-shirt with a blue jacket with white sleeves, blue jeans, white and black tennis shoes, and an official Pokémon League hat, and Serena was wearing a black shirt with a white collar, a red skirt, black socks that go to her knees, black high-top sneakers, and a felt pink hat with a black brim and little black bow. There were 3 other kids that came with Ash and Serena. One of them had spiky brown hair and wore a purple shirt, black pants, and brown boots with a pennant around his neck. That was Gary Oak. Another one was a girl with long auburn hair who wore a white polo shirt with a blue skirt, white socks, black tennis shoes, and a gold hairpin. That was Gary's sister Daisy. The last one was a girl with long brown hair who wore a blue t-shirt with a red skirt, blue socks, white sneakers, and a white hat with a red half Pokeball logo on it. That girl was Leaf Green. "Well, it seems our new trainers have arrived," Oak said. "Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Professor Oak and I study Pokémon." "We know who you are, Grandpa," Gary said. "I know, I just want to give new trainers a proper introduction," Oak told Gary. "Now let's hurry up, that Pokémon League trophy isn't going to get on my mantle with you rambling around," Gary said. "Gary, please show some respect," Daisy told her brother. "They don't just give a trophy out to anyone." "It's okay Daisy, we all know how arrogant Gary can be," Oak said, chuckling a little bit. The kids did notice one thing: how come there were 5 of them when there was only 3 Pokémon available to choose from? Was it possible that 2 trainers were not going to get a Pokémon? "Alright, you all know the 3 Pokémon that I will give you will either be Bulbasaur, Charmander, or Squirtle. I'm going to call you all by name. When I call your name, come up and choose your Pokemon, Oak told everyone. First up will be Leaf Green. Yay, my first Pokemon, Leaf happily said. Leaf was happy about getting her first Pokemon as her goal was to complete the Pokédex. The energetic girl looked at the 3 Pokeballs and picked out Bulbasaur's Pokeball. You picked Bulbasaur, the grass-type Pokemon, Oak said. That's right, since my parents named me Leaf, which is related to a plant, a grass type like Bulbasaur is perfect for me, Leaf said as she opened Bulbasaur's Pokeball. Coming out of the Pokeball was Bulbasaur, who looked at Leaf with curiosity. The seed Pokemon was happy when he saw Leaf's face. Hi there Bulbasaur, you and I are going to be best friends, Leaf said as she picked up and hugged Bulbasaur. Bulbasaur, Bulbasaur happily said. Okay, next up is you sweetie, Oak said looking at his granddaughter. Alright, thanks Grandpa, Daisy said as she went up to the 2 remaining Pokeballs. I'll go with Charmander. Daisy grabbed Charmander's Pokeball and brought the lizard Pokemon out. Charmander took a good look at Daisy, and it gave a happy response. So, you chose the fire-type Pokemon Charmander, Oak said, and it looks like you two are going to be great friends. Thanks Grandpa, me and Charmander are going to get along just fine, Daisy told her grandpa. Charmander happily said. Daisy took her new Charmander and joined Leaf, who got her new Bulbasaur. Then Professor Oak turned over to his grandson Gary, and he knew that he was eager to get his first Pokemon. Okay Gary, that leaves you with Squirtle, Oak told his grandson. That's cool, I wanted Squirtle anyways, Gary said as he grabbed Squirtle's Pokeball. Well Ash, it looks like you'll be left in the dust with no Pokemon while I get to crown myself Pokemon Master. Ash was deeply disappointed when Gary got Squirtle because that was the last Pokemon Professor Oak had. Now he and Serena were not going to get any Pokemon. It felt like a total waste of time since Professor Oak put those 2 in the back. Alright Squirtle, it's time to show me what Gary Oak is made of, Gary said raising his fists as he brought Squirtle out. Professor Oak looked at Ash and Serena as soon as Gary got his Squirtle. Ash, Serena, I'll talk to you 2 in a minute, Oak told the 2. Okay, Serena responded. Thank you, Ash replied. After Leaf, Daisy, and Gary got their Pokemon, Professor Oak went over to the desk where he pulled out 3 Pokédex. Professor Oak gave a Pokédex to the 3 new trainers while Ash and Serena just stood there and watched. Okay everyone, those are your Pokédex, which will record information on any Pokemon you see, Oak explained. Hey, guys, let's try them out on our new Pokemon, Leaf said as she got out her Pokédex. Good idea, Daisy replied taking out her Pokédex. #001 Bulbasaur, Seed Pokemon. Bulbasaur can be seen napping in bright sunlight. There is a seed on its back. By soaking up the sun's rays, the seed grows progressively larger. #004 Charmander, Lizard Pokemon. The flame that burns at the tip of its tail is an indication of its emotions. The flame wavers when Charmander is enjoying itself. If the Pokemon becomes enraged, the flame burns fiercely. #007 Squirtle, Tiny Turtle Pokemon. Squirtle's shell is not merely used for protection. The shell's rounded shape and the grooves on its surface help minimize resistance in water, enabling this Pokemon to swim at high speeds. Now that we got that taken care of, I'm out of here, Gary said calling back his Squirtle. Where are you going? Ash asked. What did I tell you, I'm getting my trophy, Gary answered with a smirk. That mantle looks like crap without a Pokemon League trophy with my name. As Gary walked out, Ash and all the girls watched him out the window and gasped to see that there was a red convertible with cheerleaders. What the hell is that? Daisy gasped. Gary hopped into the convertible and the driver drove off with him and the cheerleaders in there. Then the convertible drove off with the cheerleaders chanting his name, and all they could do is look in disgust. If I ever do something like that, I want you all to legally find a way to kill me, Leaf told Ash, Serena, and Daisy. Yeah, that was him being a total show-off, Daisy said until she turned over to Ash and Serena. Sorry you two didn't get a Pokemon. It's okay, Serena replied. I was really looking forward to beginning my journey, Ash said in disappointment. Professor Oak then walked up to Ash and Serena with Daisy and Leaf on their side. He knew the two were feeling down that they didn't get a starter Pokemon. Professor Oak then walked up to Ash and Serena with Daisy and Leaf on their side. He knew the two were feeling down that they didn't get a starter Pokemon. Okay, Ash and Serena, you two are probably wondering why you didn't get one of the starter Pokemon that I provide to the new trainers, Oak stated. We do, it's because you didn't have any left, Ash answered. Well, that's half true, but there is another reason, Oak replied. It's because we don't have what it takes to become Pokemon trainers, Serena answered. No, but you'll see, Oak said. It's a shame Gary decided to ditch you all because he's going to miss the big surprise I got for you two. You got us Pokemon. Ash exclaimed. Let me put it this way, I got someone on the television that I want you two to meet, Oak said, bringing down a giant TV-like screen. Trust me, you'll be amazed what I got in store for the two of you. As the TV was down, Ash, Serena, Daisy, and Leaf were confused on what was going on. Then when the TV turned on, they saw that it was Professor Sycamore who appeared. Professor Oak went into another room. Ash, Ketchum and Serena Gabina. Sycamore questioned. Yeah, who are you? Ash questioned. I guess you may not remember me from a few years ago at Professor Oak's summer camp. I'm Augustine Sycamore, the Pokemon professor in the Kalos region, Sycamore answered. Professor Sycamore started to come up in Ash and Serena's memories. They recalled meeting him in summer camp as he gave them the Pokemon eggs that eventually hatched into Froakie and Fennekin. Daisy and Leaf remember him as well. Oh yeah, I remember you now, Serena replied. That's good to hear. Now I hear you two are becoming Pokemon trainers. Is that correct? Sycamore asked. Yes, we are, but we don't have any Pokemon, Ash answered. Yeah, Gary, Daisy, and Leaf got all the starters, Serena answered. Well, I think you might want to hear something from Professor Oak, Sycamore said as Oak came back into the room. In Professor Oak's hands were two Pokeballs. One Pokeball was fully blue while another Pokeball was fully red. Ash and Serena saw the Pokeballs and wondered what was going on. Ash, Serena, I had a conversation last week with Professor Sycamore and we had a little talk, Oak said holding out the Pokeballs. Go ahead and speak with them, Augustine. Thank you. If you recalled back in summer camp when you guys got to watch Pokemon hatch from their eggs, Sycamore mentioned. Yeah, I remember that, Ash said in excitement. I still have the picture of that day. That was the day I would never forget, Serena happily said. I know you two were happy that day when you saw Froakie and Fennekin hatch out of those eggs, but the truth is these two Pokemon haven't been really happy for much of their lives, Sycamore explained. Really? Leaf questioned. What happened? Daisy asked, feeling a little sad. Well, Froakie and Fennekin are starter Pokemon for any trainer in the Kalos region, but those two Pokemon can't seem to trust any trainer, and here's why, Sycamore said. Be warned, this story does not have a happy ending. Ash, Serena, Leaf, and Daisy all stood there ready to listen what Professor Sycamore was about to say. No one yet knew the true story behind Froakie and Fennekin, but it was one of the most painful Pokemon stories to ever be heard. Those eggs we gave you at summer camp, they were actually found by officers who rescued them. 4 years ago, there was a violently dangerous Pokemon hunter who went by the name of Siegfried. Siegfried was an evil man who just gone around slaughtering Pokemon for no reason, and he enjoyed it. He found Froakie's family and killed everyone that was there and did the same with Fennekin's family. Froakie's egg was the only one that survived from his family, and Fennekin's egg was the only one that survived from her family. They were survivors, they escaped his murderous ways. Sycamore explained, feeling both angry and upset. The 4 kids were just ready to cry. How could it be that an evil man could just go around murdering Pokemon just for the fun of it? Those Pokemon didn't deserve it, and more importantly, why did someone like that even exist? It was hard to know if they should be sad or angry. We learned that whatever happens to a Pokemon surrounding when in their egg state, could bring a big effect into their lifestyles. That's why I wanted their eggs to be around good people like children. When Froakie and Fennekin hatched out of their eggs, those 2 were happy to be in the world, especially when they saw your happy faces, Sycamore explained. Wow, Froakie was really happy to see me, Ash said, and I was happy to see Froakie too. I felt the exact same way about Fennekin, Serena replied. I know you 2 did, but that was the only time I could remember those 2 being happy. Froakie and Fennekin couldn't seem to trust any humans, including me. They were given many different trainers over the years, but they didn't want to be with them. After about maybe a few hours, the trainers came back and returned them to me. The effects of being around someone like Siegfried while as eggs have deeply damaged them emotionally. Now it looks like they're afraid of all humans and can't trust them. However, when they saw you 2, that was the only time we could ever remember them being happy around a human, Sycamore explained. Really? Ash and Serena questioned in the union. Yeah, I don't know what made them like you. Whether you 2 were just kids, or something else, Sycamore said, so now I would like Samuel to take the honors. Thank you, Augustine, Oak said, bringing the Pokeballs forth. Ash, Serena, me and Professor Sycamore talked it over, and we decided to assign you to your Pokemon. Ash, you take the blue Pokeball, and Serena you take the red Pokeball. Thanks, Ash said, taking the blue Pokeball. So, you chose the first Pokemon for us? Serena asked, taking the red Pokeball. Yes, now open them up, Oak said. I bet you 2 will be very happy who we gave you guys as your starter Pokemon. Ash looked at the blue Pokeball. It was blue from top to bottom, and when Ash opened the Pokeball, he saw that it was a Froakie. Ash's face beamed with happiness that he got a Kalos starter instead of a Kanto starter. Froakie was feeling a little down when coming out of the ball, but when he saw Ash's face, he recognized that face immediately. Froakie then smiled, knowing it was that boy he saw when he hatched. Froakie, Froakie said, showing a little bit of joy. Serena's Pokeball was red from top to bottom, and Serena opened the Pokeball to reveal she has obtained a Fennekin as her starter. Serena was happy to see the fox Pokemon, but Fennekin wasn't looking forward to another trainer, until she saw Serena. Serena's face was the first thing Fennekin saw in this world, and the only thing Fennekin felt was happiness. Fennekin remembered her from that picture in Sycamore's house. Fennekin, Fennekin said, showing a little bit of joy. Wait a minute, are these the same Froakie and Fennekin from summer camp a few years ago? Ask asked with happiness. It is, Ash. The only time Froakie was happy was looking at the photo with you and Serena in it, and the same went for Fennekin. Froakie has always seemed fond of you for some reason, and Fennekin felt the same for Serena. So, me and Oak had a talked, and we have decided to take an experiment of letting that same Froakie you met at summer camp be your starter Pokemon, Ash, and the same goes for Fennekin, as she will be Serena's starter, Sycamore announced. You mean, the same Fennekin that hatched out of the egg at summer camp is going to be my starter Pokemon? Serena asked in excitement. That's right, Sycamore answered. Wow, Froakie, you and I are going to be best friends now, Ash happily said. Froakie, Froakie said, waving his arms happily. Now remember, Ash and Serena, give these Pokemon a lot of love. They have some hard time trusting humans after what happened to them before they hatched. If you can give all the love and friendship you can, it will be no doubt those 2 Pokemon can overcome the humans, Oak explained. That's right, plus let Froakie and Fennekin out a lot to play. These two Pokemon do get along very well, Sycamore told Ash and Serena. What are you talking about? Of course, we'll let them play, Ash said. Yeah, we want them to get along with us, but we also want them to get along with other Pokemon, Serena said. That's great, I think you two will do great as trainers for Froakie and Fennekin. Well, I'll let Professor Oak take it from here, Sycamore said. I wish you the best of luck on your journeys, and we might speak again sometime. Goodbye. Sycamore waved goodbye on the screen until it turned black. Ash and Serena were amazed that only were they given Kalos starters as their first Pokemon, but they also happened to be the same Pokemon they were holding when they first met at summer camp. This had to be destiny. We're going to not only be best friends, we're going to take good care of them, Ash said looking at Serena. Especially after hearing what that Siegfried guy did to their families, Serena said feeling a bit down. Daisy and Leaf were in total shock when they saw that Ash and Serena were getting Kalos starters from Professor Oak's lab, in Kanto. The only thing that was going through the girls' heads was the fact that Gary missed out on the events that happened in the lab. He probably would wonder how the hell did they get Kalos starters in Kanto. Gary would have flipped out if he saw that, Daisy said to Leaf. Too bad his ego had to kick in, Leaf said giggling. So, did you two expect that? Oak asked Ash and Serena. No, we didn't, Ash answered. After hearing everything about Froakie and Fennekin, Ash and Serena couldn't have been happier. Little did these two know, they wanted to travel with each other in hopes to get closer. Ash did have a little crush on Serena while Serena did have a crush on Ash. The fact that these two Pokemon have gotten along at Sycamore's lab was the perfect opportunity for them to possibly get together. Hey Ash, I was wondering, do you want to travel together? Serena asked, which got Ash to raise his eyebrows. I would love to, Ash answered, especially after hearing about how these two Pokemon got to be good friends while living with Professor Sycamore. Amazing, so you two are traveling together, Oak said. Yes, we are, Ash answered. Well, in that case I got something you two can use, Oak said as he walked out of the room. Daisy and Leaf came up to Ash and Serena and gave them a cheesy glare and smile. The only thing those two girls knew was that Ash and Serena were going to travel together and become a couple. So, new Pokemon trainers in love, Leaf said. Leaf, knock it off. Serena retorted. Oh, come on, we know you two want to just make out somewhere, Daisy teasingly said. Daisy, come on. Ash retorted. Yeah, Ash is right, Leaf said looking at Froakie and Fennekin, we need to look up these Pokemon first. Leaf and Daisy opened their Pokédex, only to reveal that the data could not be recorded. No data? Daisy questioned. Of course, these are regional Pokédex, and Froakie and Fennekin don't come from this region, Leaf explained. Then Professor Oak came back into the room with what looked like a phone-like Pokédex. It was red with a big screen, and the only question is what the heck was that thing? Okay, Ash and Serena, since you two are going to be traveling together, I won't be giving you an ordinary Pokédex, Oak said presenting the phone-like Pokédex. Instead I'm going to have you two use this Pokédex together. This is a Pokédex? Serena questioned. It is a Pokédex, but a special kind of Pokédex, Oak answered. It isn't operational right now, but I do have a special part to make it work. I ordered the part, and I want you to retrieve it in Viridian City. After that, it will scan and give information on every Pokemon in any region. Do you know what kind of Pokédex this is? Ash asked. It was something I heard that was created in the Alola region by my colleague Professor Kukui, Oak answered. I also have a cousin named Samson who lives in Alola too. Don't worry Professor, we'll get that part and then make this Pokédex work, Ash responded. That's good to hear, Oak said. With that, Ash took the two Pokédexes that he and Serena were going to use. Now that they got their starter Pokemon and Pokédexes, it was time for them to hit the road. Outside Professor Oak's lab. As Ash, Serena, Daisy, and Leaf came out with Froakie, Fennekin, Charmander, and Bulbasaur, the parents were waiting. Ash saw Delia waiting while Serena noticed her parents Grace and Jade. Leaf saw a woman with long brown hair and blue eyes wearing a green shirt with a white shrug, a long blue skirt, and blue flats, along with a man with nicely combed brown hair and hazel eyes wearing a red polo shirt, khaki pants, and brown shoes. Those two were Rose and Daniel Green, Leaf's parents, and Daisy didn't have any parents waiting for her since she didn't have a mom, and her dad was at the Pokemon League. She did get to meet her grandpa though, which was good enough. So, let's see the new Pokemon, Rose said to the kids. Okay Mom, Leaf said, picking up Bulbasaur. Mom, Dad, this is Bulbasaur. He's going to be my new best friend and we're going to make a lot of more friends. Hey there Bulbasaur, how are you doing? Daniel said, petting Bulbasaur on the head. Welcome to the Green family. And Daisy here got Charmander, Leaf said, pointing to Daisy and Charmander. Daisy came up and showed the adults her new Charmander. Charmander gave a happy hello to the adults, but Charmander knew the person that she had to trust was Daisy. Charmander seems very cute, Rose said. Thanks, and Gary got Squirtle, Leaf told the adults. By the way, shoot me if I get a convertible and cheerleaders. His ego kicked in, did it? Daniel asked. Yes, Daisy answered. Now it was time for Delia, Grace, and Jade to look at the Pokemon that their kids got. Usually the trainers get Bulbasaur, Charmander, or Squirtle, but Ash and Serena were given different Pokemon. So, Ash, what Pokemon did you get? Delia asked. Yes Serena, we want to meet your Pokemon too, Grace replied. Well, you're in for a special surprise, Ash said, putting down the giant Pokédex and picking up Froakie, which Delia noticed. Everyone, this is my new Pokemon Froakie. Froakie, Froakie weakly said. Don't worry Froakie, they won't hurt you, Ash said, comforting Froakie. And this here is Fennekin, Serena said, holding up Fennekin. Say hi Fennekin. Fennekin nervously said. Wait a minute, aren't those Pokemon supposed to be starters from the Kalos region? Jade questioned, how did you kids get those? It's a pretty sad story, Ash said as he began to speak. Ash and Serena told the story of what Professor Sycamore said about Siegfried, how they were the same Pokemon that hatched out of the eggs at summer camp, and that they seemed like the only humans they could trust. Froakie, Fennekin, I'm so sorry for you two, Grace said, weeping. Don't worry you two, you're in good hands with Ash and Serena, Jade said, which didn't do much for Froakie or Fennekin. By the way Ash, I noticed you were holding something. What is that thing you got? Delia asked. Oh this, Ash said, picking up the giant Pokédex. This is a special Pokédex Serena and I are going to use. It doesn't seem to work right now, but we're going to get a special part in Viridian City to make it work. Ah, very interesting, Delia said, feeling a bit confused. Wait a minute, special Pokédex you and Serena are going to use? Grace questioned, are you two planning to travel together? Yeah Mom, me and Ash are going to travel through Kanto together, Serena answered as she got up a little closer to her two moms. I also figure it's a good way for me and Ash to get closer. Closer? Jade questioned. No, that way, I mean maybe develop a relationship and become a couple, Serena told her mom. Oh, love, I see, Jade giggled until she saw the Pokédex again. You have any idea how that Pokédex works? Not yet, Serena answered. After all the introductions, storytelling about Froakie and Fennekin, and showing the phone-like Pokédex, it was time to get going. Outskirts of Pallet Town. Ash, Serena, Leaf, and Daisy were all at the edge of Pallet Town with their Pokemon back in their Pokeballs, and they were ready to say their goodbyes. Daisy now had a red backpack as she ran off waving goodbye to everyone while Leaf hugged her mom and dad as she now had a yellow bag on her shoulder. "Now you be safe out there, Leaf," Rose told her daughter. "If anything happens, just come on home," Daniel told Leaf. "Don't worry Mom and Dad, I'll be fine," Leaf told her parents. "Besides, I managed to make sure I studied all different ways to survive in the wild as this world is pretty harsh." "That's good for you," Rose said, giving a thumbs up. "Always be prepared. Now be safe, and I love you." "I love you too," Leaf said as she continued to hug them. Then after a nice long hug, Rose and Daniel finally let go and Leaf began to walk down the road. Her Pokemon journey began, and the two parents waved goodbye. All that was left was Ash and his mom, and Serena and her moms. Ash's mom gave him a green backpack while Serena's moms gave her a pink backpack. "Okay Ash, I put in some fresh clothes for you, also a first aid kit, gloves for laundry, emergency snacks, and that giant Pokédex you're going to hulk around," Delia said, handing Ash his backpack and some money. "You're also going to get 2,000 Poke dollars for a little spending money. Now Serena, we made sure you got some medicine in case any of you or your Pokemon get sick, a nice cookbook because you kids are going to need to learn how to cook your own meals, soap and shampoo, and of course clothes, and your makeup kit," Grace said, handing Serena her backpack and money, "and also 2,000 Poke dollars for you too." "I'm so proud that you kids are off on your own," Jade said, wiping a tear. "Not to worry Mr. Gabina, we're going to be just fine," Ash told Jade. "All right then," Delia said as she gave Ash a big hug. "Ash, I'm going to miss you. I want you and Serena to be very careful." "Don't worry Mom, I won't let anything happen to her," Ash told his mom. "Take care Serena, and don't worry, you'll find out what you want to do," Grace told Serena while she and Jade gave her a hug. "Thanks Mom," Serena said, "I'm going to be fine." "That's good to hear," Jade replied, "as your father always says, go for broke." "I will," Serena said. Afterwards the two kids broke out of their mother's hugs, and now it was time for them to go. It was time for them to venture out into the big dangerous world of Pokemon. "Take care, and I love you," Delia said to Ash. "I love you too Mom," Ash replied. "We love you Serena," Grace and Jade said in union. "I love you too," Serena told her parents. And after that, Ash and Serena went down the road to begin their Pokemon journey. Who knows what challenges will await them, what kind of Pokemon will they catch and make friends with, and how will Froakie and Fennekin improve around humans other than Ash and Serena? Only time will tell what their journey awaits them, and then Delia called out Ash one more time. "Ash!" Delia yelled out, causing Ash to turn around. "Don't forget to change your underwear every day." "Mom!" Ash yelled, feeling embarrassed, causing Serena to giggle a little bit. This is all for today. Thanks for watching.